So I asked my favourite booktubers to choose my next read. So the first person I asked was Sarah Caroli, and I messaged her and asked what she thinks I should read next. And I gave her some options because I offered to give options if the booktubers couldn't decide. And she chose The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This is going to be a fun read. I'm not quite sure what it is about, but I have heard Sarah herself talk a lot about this, and she said that it's really good and that she enjoyed it, so that is kind of why it was on my TBR in the first place. So now I'm finally reading it because of her, so yeah, it's a great start. So I'm going to start reading that, and I'll give you all an update when I have one. Okay, so I finished The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This book, wow, no words for this book. So I'm currently in a reading slump, believe it or not. If you've been here for a while, you probably know that. But I sat and read this book start to finish, one sitting. Wow, it's so good. So I'm gonna rate this book 4.5 stars. So amazing. So this book is about Hannah and Jake, and Jake is famous and Hannah is a bodyguard, and so Hannah is assigned to be Jake's bodyguard, and Jake doesn't want his mother or his family to find out that he has a bodyguard, so he ends up telling Hannah, we've got a fake date. And so fake dating trope, which is one of my favourite tropes, love it, and we all know what happens, but so many different things happen as well, so many mysteries that you don't expect, which is fun. It's obviously a romance, but then there's a bit of mystery in it as well, which I love so much. So yeah, love this book. It's a great start to this video. The next book I'm going to be reading is from Perfect Paperbacks. She said that I should read Marriage for One by Ella Macy. I have heard of this book, but I don't really know anything about it, so I'm gonna try and go into this blind, see what it's all about. I did hear that it's kind of a retailing of something. I could be wrong. So I'm going to go and start this book now, and I will give you all an update when I have one. Okay, so I'm now on page 47 of Marriage for One. I thought I'd do a little update. So this is actually very interesting so far, because it starts off with them already being married, and then it goes off into how they got married and how the deal came across, and it's very interesting so far. So I kind of jumped into what happened, but basically from what I'm getting of what it's about so far, it's about this guy called Jack and this woman called Rose, and Rose wants to open a coffee shop, but it never happened for her. All her life savings went into it and it kind of failed. And Jack wants I think Rose's uncle's building or something like that, and so Jack comes up with a deal of, if Rose marries him, then she'll get her dream coffee shop, and he'll I think it's not get the building, but the Rose's uncle on his will said that Rose's husband gets, I think it's the building. He gets something out of it. Anyway, I'll probably get more in-depth information in a bit. But Rose's ex-fiance actually broke up with her a couple of weeks before this, so there was no statement of what husband, but obviously the uncle meant her ex-fiance, which is, his name is Joshua. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting so far. Very confusing when I explained it, but I hope you understood what I meant. So good so far. But yeah, so I'm gonna read some more. My target is 200, but I think that's a bit optimistic, so I might go with page 150. That's my target for tonight. So yeah, I am going to go and read some more. I'm enjoying it so far. It is actually really interesting, so we'll see how that continues.
Why is it gotta be so complicated? Maybe this love thing's overrated. My feet in the sand, my face in my hands. I know it's my fault cause I never make plans. And now you're telling me you love me, but she don't even know me. I'm trying to hang, but if you follow me slowly, yeah. Cause I've been thinking lately, if I take my time, try to get it right, I could see you.
Okay, so it's the next day. You have to mind me wearing the same jumper out of this jumper, it's so warm. But anyway, moving on. So last night I got up to page 177 of Marriage for One, which I'm happy about because I went over my goal. But I had to stop myself from reading. I wanted to continue, but I had to stop myself because it was like 6 in the morning. But at the moment I'm actually really enjoying this book. So I've got to the point where they're kind of like getting into marriage a bit, and you can tell that Jack has fallen for Rose, like starting to feel feelings. So I think this is definitely guy falls first, which I love personally, because in most romance books that I've read, the girl always falls first. So it's definitely something nice, something different. But I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I don't want to spoil too much. So the next update might be when I finish it, but if anything interesting happens, then that is when I'll next give you an update. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Don't know how I'm going to rate it though, but it is really interesting. Okay, so it's the next day now, and it is currently 20 minutes past 12. And last night I finally finished Marriage for One, and wow, this book, I rated it 4.75 stars. I was going to rate it 5 stars, but I feel like it was a little bit too long at times with some stuff, but otherwise, loved it so much. It was so good. And the ending and just everything that happened, wow. So that's what I'm going to say, so I don't spoil anything. But then I moved on to Get a Life by Brown, which was suggested by Irish Reader. So I got 23 pages into that, but then I decided to stop because I started to get a headache. So I'm going to read a bit more now, but I'm going to tell you what the book is about. So from what I know of what the book is about, it's about Chloe Brown, and she had a near-death experience. So basically she almost died from what I read, like almost being hit by a car from like a car crash, and that made her realize and think she needs to do something with her life. So she makes a list of things that she wants to do that are important to her, things she wants to do in life, like to finally do something kind of thing. So yeah, that's all I know about it. Oh, and obviously in the meantime she meets Red, so it's gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go and read for a little bit. I'm hoping to finish this today, but I don't know how that will end up going, so we'll see.
I saw the weed bent over.
Okay, so it's the next day, and last night I finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and wow, this was actually a really enjoyable read. I decided to give it 4 stars because I did enjoy it, but originally I was going to give it 3 stars, but then it started to get better. I thought, you know what, I'll give it 3.75 stars. Then I enjoyed the end of the book, so I decided to give it 4 stars all around because it was actually really enjoyable. I did enjoy it. But now what I'm going to be reading next is The Perfect Marriage, which was suggested by Melissa Dimmer. So this I'm actually really looking forward to, and I love the fact that throughout this video so far we've got different genres and different types of books. Like, it's been giving me a mix of different things, which I have been loving. We are going to go and start it finally.
Why is it gotta be so complicated? Maybe this love thing's overrated.
Okay, so it's been a couple of days and I keep forgetting to update and I got ill and stuff, but I decided to do a quick update now. So a couple of days ago I finished The Perfect Marriage. I rated it 4 stars. It was really good. The end, like the clip you saw like before this, that was my reaction. That was surprising. I was not expecting that at all. So very good ending, but throughout the whole book I found it interesting anyway. So the next book I'm going to read is Dial A for Aunties, which was recommended by Katie's Reading. So yeah, I have actually started it and I'm currently 150 pages in. I'm actually really enjoying it so far. It's very interesting and something very different from what I normally read. So I'm gonna go and finish this and then I'll give you all an update when I next can. So I have now finished Dial A for Aunties, which was recommended by Katie's Reading. I rated this 4 stars. It was very, very interesting, and ending of this book, like, it's kind of twisted. So I do highly recommend this read. The next book I'm going to be reading is called The Selection. This was suggested by Just Ali. Now, I have heard some great things about this. It's a YA, and it's like this love triangle thing, which I hate love triangles. I think we all know this by now. I keep saying it too often. But I'm going to read it anyway and see what I think of it. So I'm going to go and read that and I'll update you when I have actually finished the book. So I finished The Selection. I actually enjoyed this a bit more than I thought I would, considering it's a YA. So I rated it 4 stars. It did take me a while to get into it. Like, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, because it's YA. I kind of judged it from that, and if it wasn't for Just Ali recommending it to me, I probably wouldn't have read it, if I'm being completely honest. I heard of the book before, and I always thought to myself, I'm never going to read that, but I'm glad that I did, because it was a 4-star read for me. All the books so far in this video is going very well. So the next book I'm going to be reading is Archer's Voice, which was recommended by Alexa Ray. So I'm gonna go and read them. I'm hoping to finish that today. So I will give you all an update when I have an update. Okay, so it's a little while later now and I have finished Archer's Voice. So if you don't know, this was a reread for me and I just love this book so much and I'm so glad that I reread it again. I read this last October and it's currently October now, so great time. It was a year on the dot and I just love this book. It has like a place in my heart. Now if you don't know what this is about, it's about Archer and he can't speak, so he's known as like a weirdo or like a freak or, you know, all those horrible names. But this woman comes into town as she has her own trauma, but they end up meeting in the parking lot because she drops all her shopping on the floor, like the bags, and he doesn't speak to her and she finds it really confusing, so she asks her around and she just hears bad things about him, but she gets to know him. It's so good, and it's a small town romance, so if you're looking for a small town, I recommend this one. But yeah, I read it quicker the second time, I found, because the first time it took me a while, but I read it faster. Obviously I read it in one day. I read it faster the second time, but I think it's because obviously I've already read it and I already know what's going to happen. I always find with books, when you reread them, you read them quicker than you did the first time. Comment down below if you agree with me, if you're the same, but that's what it is like for me. So yeah, I'm glad that I reread this. The next book I'm going to be reading is The Dark Notes. This was recommended by it's McKay. So I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I just never had the motivation to pick it up, and I feel like this is my sign to pick it up, so I'm going to go and read that. I'm hoping to finish it today, but I don't know if that will happen. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go and read that. Okay, so I have finished Dark Notes by Pam Goodwin. Now, I finished this yesterday and I am so undecisive on what I think about this book. I'm also undecisive on what I'm going to rate it. So there's nothing really that I can talk about it much, but it is a teacher-student romance, which is what I like. The guy in it, right from the beginning, didn't like him very much. He did kind of improve a bit, like, through the book, but still not my favourite book character. The girl as well, also I probably was like kind of not a big fan of, but again, she got better throughout the book as well. So I don't know, I will leave my rating in the description if you're interested in what I rate it, if you don't follow me in Goodreads, or you can follow me in Goodreads. But yeah, so that is my thoughts on that at the moment. Now I'm going to read The Fine Print, which was recommended by Emily Estoya. So it's time that I finally read this book. I have heard so many good things about this. I'm pretty sure it's about this like rich man has like theme park, and she works there for him, and he has to like do something to get, is it an inheritance? No, I don't know, but that is apparently what it's about, so I'm gonna go and start reading that. Okay, so it's been a little while and I have finished the fine print. It was actually a quick read for me, surprisingly, and I, again, like the last one, I don't know what to rate it. Like, I'm like so indecisive between 4 or 4.5 stars. I was thinking about giving it 5 stars, but I don't know. It's just mixed feelings about it. So it was an enjoyable read, and obviously I finished it quite quickly, which kind of proves it. I'm just so indecisive. So, like the other one, I'll leave my rating in the description, and hopefully I'll be able to decide by then. So yes, that is the end of this video. I can't believe I've read so many books. Most of them was a success, which is, you know, great. Most of the books I rated 4 stars, and then I think there was one that I rated 5 stars. So if you ask me, that is like quite a good improvement, and I think this video has been very, very successful. So also I want to say that when I was reading Marriage for One, I kept saying the author's name as Ella Macy or something like that. It's actually Ella Mays, and I realise that now, so I just want to apologise if that was bothering you throughout the video. So yeah, just wanted to point that out there. I also want to say thank you to all of the booktubers who was happy to participate in this video. I could not have done this video without you guys, so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!